Well, good morning and welcome to Mike Ferry TV. Last week was an exciting week for all of you that were in the Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood area of Florida because we had our Superstar Retreat. And we had 2,000 excited, energized, powerful agents like yourself there for 4 days. It was exciting. And for those that attended, thanks for being there. Tomorrow we leave for Paris. I do a seminar in Paris this week for 3 days. And then the next week we're in Genoa, Italy. We have 800 great Italian agents attending a 4-day action workshop in Genoa, Italy. So we're going to be broadcasting to you from around the world in the next couple of weeks. So it'll be fun. A couple of weeks ago, as you recall, we started talking about the tour we were on prior to the retreat. And of course, 2 weeks ago, we talked about the fact that you have to get more appointments. Then last week, we talked about the fact that you have to find ways to get them to sign contracts when you're on appointments. This week, I'm going to talk about 6 questions that hopefully you'll understand, you can comprehend, you can digest to use to get more listings. Now, remember, we're into October. So you got half October, September, or October, November, December to go out there and be productive. So in the tour that I did before the retreat, I would ask each audience in the second half of my 3-hour seminar to write down 3 questions. Here's question number 1, okay? How competitive are you as a person, as an individual, as an agent? Now some of you say, well, what do you mean? So how competitive are you? Because you ever noticed if you're working with buyers, you really don't have to be very competitive. But if you're working on a listing, you better be competitive. Why? Because the agents out in the street that are taking listings all the time are competitive. Why? Because they've had to sharpen their skills. See, listing agents, I said this 2 weeks ago, are skill directed. Showing agents are non-skill directed. Now, I know that bothers some of you. It's okay. Write me nasty emails. I don't care. But it's the truth. You know it as well as I do. It takes a lot of skills to go out and list property. Watch, the skill of finding a prospect, the skill of lead follow-up, the skill of pre-qualifying, the skill of making a competitive, strong presentation, the skill of handling objections, the skill of getting the contract signed. These are skills you have to have if you're going to be competitive. But Mike, wait a minute. Okay, what's up? I'm not a competitive person. Well, now watch. Here's my belief, and I'm not sure I'm right. It's just my belief. Either you're competitive or you're not. A. B, if you're not competitive, you can become competitive. Anybody can. How do you become competitive? Start setting short-term goals of things you really want to do, really want to have, really want to accomplish over the next couple of weeks. And then dangle that carrot, which is a potential listing in front of you, and that listing and that carrot is what gets you to that goal. You're going to be competitive if you want it bad enough. How badly do you want it? How competitive are you? If you're going against 2 other agents, you're going to go in there and fight to get that listing? Are you going to be strong? Are you going to really be rehearsed in practice like we talked about last week? Are you going to be prepared physically, mentally, and emotionally to get that listing? How competitive are you? See, if you're not competitive, you're not going to get a listing very often. The second question I asked them all to write down, how good is the quality of service you offer? See, the truth is, and you know this, in a listing presentation, it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. Okay, we know that. But a listing presentation, if it takes more than 5 minutes, then you start selling the services you have to offer. Now, all the services of all the companies are the same. I love it. Every real estate company, no, our services are different. Ours are more defined. Ours are better. Well, give me a break. They're all the same. We all do the same stuff. It's how you present the quality of your service that determines whether you get the listing or not. If you walk into the house, hi, I'm so excited to be here tonight. I'm really excited. They're not going to list with you because they're looking for somebody that can define and present and get them to accept the service you offer. Is the service you extend to a seller good quality service? Because if it's not, guess what? You're not going to get the listing in most cases. Then the third question I want you to write down is how would you rate your performance? How would you rate you make a listing presentation. How good are you? I mean, okay, now watch. When you finish, do you normally get a standing ovation? Oh my gosh, thank you so much. God, you are so great. It never happens. You know that and I know that. In fact, you know what happens? After you leave, they start applauding. Thank goodness they're finally gone. Watch, your performance has to be good. We are actors and actresses. We are professional people. We have to prepare a lot. We talked about it last week. Now watch, if you're not prepared, how do you expect to perform at a high level? If you can't perform up here when your competition is here, guess what? You're just like all the rest. How would you rate your performance? But then if we go back and we really think about listing property, and I got to tell you, remember, from now until the end of the year, all I'm going to talk about is finishing strong. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. We got to go right through December 21st. We got to work, we got to prepare, we got to list property. List property by going on a lot of what? Appointments. That's our job. That's what we have to do. So watch this. We know that every seller has 3 questions looming in their mind. And if we answer those 3 questions, we're a little more competitive, our service becomes more obvious, and we're obviously better prepared to get a listing. So what are the 3 questions? Number 1, how much is my house worth? Now, one of my last tour stops back in, I guess it was about the 3rd week in September, I had a young man argue with me throughout the entire 3-hour seminar. Come to find out, the guy's been in real estate for a week and has not a listing. But boy, did he have some opinions, okay? And I love that kind of stuff because he really did challenge me. I did slap him around a little bit, so just relax on that one. But here's what he kept saying. Well, you just can't walk into a house and tell them a price. I said, of course you can. That's what a CMA is for. Watch. Do they want to know what their house is worth? You bet. And are they going to tell you it's worth more than what you say? You bet. Are they going to want this price when they should be taking this price? You bet. So if you can't go in and present your price and defend your price, they list with somebody else. Well, man, can't we just take it up here and always come down later? Doesn't it depend upon the motivation of the seller? I mean, are you actually saying to a seller, I can get you 25% of a fair market value and I can get it for you fast? Watch, that isn't taking place in the world today. So question number 1, you have to answer, how much is my house worth? Question number 2, how long will it take to sell? Well, Mike, how long does it take to get this home sold? I don't know. I have no idea. You know, I work every day real hard. I hope it sells fast, don't you? Ha ha ha. Wait a minute. Think about it. If you say to a doctor, am I going to be okay? And the doctor says, well, I don't know. I guess so. You know, I'll do the best I can. You're going to get up and leave that doctor. If you say to the attorney, can we win this case? I don't know. You know, I'll go in there and I'll go talk to him and I'll see what I can do. You're going to run out of that office. Folks, you've got to walk in prepared to give them answers. But Mike, you don't know how soon it will sell. Yes, you do if you price it to sell and you know your market stats. If you know how many homes are coming on the market, how many are in inventory, if you know exactly what they're selling for price-wise, what price ranges, and if you know how long those properties have been on the market, you can pretty much predict a sales price for them. Watch, how much is my house worth? How long will it take to sell? And then magic question number 3 goes back to service again. If necessary, what are you going to do to get it sold? Well, I'm going to throw it in MLS. Ha ha ha. I'm going to put it on the World Wide Web. Ha ha ha. Come on, grow up. Everybody does the same thing. Can you define? Right now, can you sit down and can you write 4 or 5 valid, good, straight to the point reasons why they should list with you because of the service you offer? 50 years ago, I developed a simple little document called a plan of action. Here's the 18 things we do to get a home sold. And what we told agents every single day, you simply have to present in order what you do to get a home sold to get a contract signed. They want to know what the steps are. Now, most of the time, if you're good, and if you follow what I taught you last week, and I know you are, you don't have to spend a lot of time on services because they're going to sign the contract very quickly. Now watch, how competitive are you? How good is your service? How would the world rate your performance? Then, how much is my house worth? Now, listen carefully. How long will it take to sell? And then obviously, what will you do to get it sold? Focus on these questions. Only have a little bit of time left in the month of October. Focus on them for all of November, December. Become the listing star that you want to become. Become the listing star you deserve to become. Talk to you next week.